Mr. Richie, I'll give you a chance if you want to respond to those comments. I don't know if you have any response.
I think we're all, for lack of a better term, rock and roll, we're all kind of smoking the same dope.
All right, that spices up the hearing even more.
My name is Robert Richie, PKA Kid Rock. I'm proud to say I've been packing arenas, amphitheaters, and stadiums with the greatest fans on earth for over 25 years. I'm also a capitalist. I'm here today because I love God. I love this country. I love live music and sports. And I believe music fans and artists have been getting screwed for far too long by the ticketing system. I'm in a unique position to testify because, unlike most of my peers, I am beholden to no one. No record companies, no managers, no corporate endorsements or deals. To put it plainly, I ain't scared. I ain't scared to speak out on these issues like many artists, managers, and agents are for fear of biting the hand that feeds them. I'm here because hardworking Americans who love live music deserve better, and because artists deserve control over their own work. And let's be clear, this problem is older than timeouts and participation trophies. 30 years ago, members of the rock band Pearl Jam, members of the rock band Pearl Jam sat in these same seats, warning Congress about ticketing abuse. In 2009, Congress was told under oath that merging Live Nation and Ticketmaster would benefit artists and fans. The CEO of Live Nation called the merger an experiment and promised it would increase competition, empower artists, and lower costs. He also said, and I quote, "A system that empowers artists benefits everyone." Almost need a rim shot after that. The CEO of Ticketmaster at the time also testified in 2009 and said, "We believe the combination of our two companies will benefit artists, fans, theaters, sports teams, museums, and all the other facilities, performers, and spectators who use our services. The economic foundation that supported artists in the past is crumbling. Piracy is threatening their livelihood. Secondary ticketing is driving up prices for the fans with absolutely no benefit to the artist. Needless to say, that experiment has failed miserably. Independent venues have been crushed. Artists have lost leverage. Fans are paying more than ever and getting blamed for it. Should Ticketmaster and Live Nation be broken up? Probably. Would that alone fix things? Not sure it would, but I am sure of this. No artist should be forced to sell their tickets without a say in who sells them and how they are sold. What other business in America doesn't control or at least have a say in their own inventory? If artists had real choice, real competition would follow, and tickets would end up in the hands of real fans at the prices we, the artists, set. It's no secret, none, that this industry is full of greedy snakes and scoundrels. Too many suits lining their pockets off talent they never had and fans they mislead. The truth is, much of this could have been, or still could be, solved through technology, especially proof of humanity tools. It hasn't happened yet because there's just too much money in the secondary ticket market. Ticketing companies didn't fail to stop this. Seems they chose not to. Now, meanwhile, the problem has been addressed with much success overseas. In parts of Europe, resale ticket prices are capped, and it seems to be working. I've been advocating for a 10% price cap here in the States on the resale of a ticket. And in fairness, Ticketmaster and Live Nation have supported this cap. Where I'm confused is this. I don't think Ticketmaster needs a law passed to do this. If that's true, then it only proves these companies have been reactive, not proactive. I would implore Congress, this is important, to subpoena the contracts and deals between artists, promoters, buildings, ticketing companies, agencies, and vendors, because as I understand it, you will find mountains of fraud and abuse. Now, my positions and solutions are as follows. Number one, artists should control who sells their tickets and how. Number two, resale ticket price caps work and protect real fans. Number three, the Bots Act should be enforced. Brokers and bad actors must be stopped, and all should face serious penalties and consequences. All-in pricing is great, but it doesn't fix the system. Outlawing speculative ticketing is obvious. The problem is that ticketing lobbyists push these reforms as cover while fighting to keep tickets in an open market and lets them exploit fans under the guise of capitalism. Do not be fooled by these tactics. Congress and many others have been fooled since the mid-1990s, fooled again in 2009, and so on. This wasn't an experiment, it was a monopoly dressed up as innovation. So I'll close now with the words of one of my favorite rock bands, The Who, and say it is my sincere hope we won't get fooled again. Thank you. Rock on.
Mr. Richie, I want to comment to you. I know you've got the reputation not only in Nashville but around the country. You do a barn burner of a show, and you're known.
Oh, you're going to say something else.
Not quite, but you take care of your fans. You are known for taking care of your fans. So, how has this price gouging in the marketplace affected your fan base? What do they tell you?
They're pissed. It prices them out of the market, many of them, especially, the working class folks. And like I've explained before, people don't realize why this is so different than another business where maybe if a grocery store is gouging on the price of something, you might be able to go to another store close by if you have those means to get that a little better price. When you're talking about your favorite artist, I'm looking back when I was a child at some of my favorite artists, I would have done anything to get into those shows. And so some of these people, they're maxing out their credit cards and they're in debt. They're missing a house payment, things like this. So the way it affects them is terrible. You see it all the time. Go on to any artist message board who's popular and tickets come, and it's a conundrum to get them. And just look at those messages. Oh, I wish I could go. I wish I could afford it. I'm priced out. Like blah blah blah. It's really just common sense, which is we keep talking about. I've heard it from Mr. Hickenlooper and down here, they're trying to run this disguise again of like speculative ticketing and all-in pricing. These things are great, and we do all agree on them. It doesn't solve the problem because what they hide in these things, which I believe they've done in Colorado and that they're doing in California, or they've done, is they do all these wonderful things. It goes, oh, they're doing all this stuff for ticketing. What they don't do, or what they do is they sneak in or they say, we must keep tickets on the free market. And all that does is give the scalpers, the bad actors, the bots, a license to ill. That's it. So they keep running this game. Don't be fooled. Like the only way I've seen it that we can fix this is, and Live Nation, us and Ticketmaster agree on this, oddly enough, that there needs to be a price cap. They've tried this in Europe. Just look at it. It works there. Do I want to be a follower of Europe? Not really. But you know what I mean? They did something that's kind of working. We ought to take a hard look at that.
My time's expired.
Mr. Richie, I have a feeling you don't take comfort in that, but...
Well, I was just going to add, I know no one likes a tattle, but from what my sources tell me, you might want to ask Mr. Wall, is that my friend President Trump, the Live Nation has also hired a couple of his friends, Rick Grinnell and Kellyanne Conway. That says a lot right there.
Okay, Senator.
So, okay, on that note, but could I just ask one last question on the subject here of just what you think the effect is on smaller bands, not ones that fill the whole arenas bands? Like you of Monopoly.
The smaller bands, I mean, if you get popular as a smaller band, it's almost the same problem. Mm-hmm. You're just selling out a smaller venue, no tickets, and they get jacked up in prices, and all the same things still happen.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Richie, what I hear you saying is, we should do that. This is broad bipartisans. We should do that, but there's more to do, right? There's more to do than just the transparency because you're just seeing regular people that are just getting boxed out, right?
Yes, those are things we can all agree on, the speculative ticketing, the transparency, all that stuff, but it does not solve the problem of getting the tickets into the hands of the fans at the prices the artists set. Like I said, I'm a capitalist, I'm a deregulation guy, but something needs to be done here. This has gone on for 30 years. It's only gotten worse.
Right. And I appreciate you coming here today because I think you lending your voice to this is important.
Mr. Richie, let me say, as a Texan, I'm particularly happy to see you bringing cowboy hats back to the United States Senate. It warms my heart.
Yes, sir.
Let me start with you, Mr. Richie. In your testimony, you talk a lot about how music fans and artists have been harmed by systemic problems within the ticketing system. You've been doing this for over 25 years with a ton of success. What do you see as the biggest problem for music fans?
Well, like we're saying, we keep going back to these speculative ticketing. transparency, all this stuff. Great. Everyone does agree on these small things, but it does not solve this problem. The biggest problem I see as an artist is getting the tickets at the prices I set into the hands of the fans. And like I said, I'll say it again, I'm a capitalist, I'm a deregulation guy. There's no way around this but to put a price cap on this, or technology figure it out. But technology hasn't yet. Maybe they don't want them to. I mean, when people are making a lot of money in the secondary market, and I even told the CEO of Live Nation a couple years ago, I go, you guys would have probably gotten away with this a lot longer if you just would have paid the artists some of the money in the secondary market, which they never did. We never shared in that. But either way, I'm here for the fans. That's it. I would actually take a pay cut off this. I would rather have more fans and take a little less money, or have packed buildings and play to that. Because let's face it, as a front man and a lot of front men, we have a little bit of egos, all of us. And rather than take that little bit extra money,
Fortunately, no one in politics has that.
Yeah, not at all. So it's getting the prices we set, getting them into the hands of the fans.
You also talked about how artists have lost leverage in the ticketing system. And obviously, venues make relationships with ticket sellers. Can you explain what it means, how performers have lost leverage, and what might change if artists had more control over ticket sales?
Well, I mean, just with this, speaking of the secondary market, if I went to Ticketmaster, I don't know, a couple months ago, I got a tour coming up. I could go like, hey, we've agreed on a price for the ticket with the building, with the fees, everything. Okay, I want to buy all 15,000 tickets. No way that's happening. You can only get a certain amount for your fan club that you want. Maybe I want to do special things there. Maybe I want to do things like, have first class tickets available like an airline, but then also have some really cheap tickets around there without doing dynamic pricing, which kind of takes one ticket right next to another ticket and for no reason just jacks it up. I'd rather be transparent about this going into it. Like, yes, we know we have first-class customers, people who've worked hard and done well. We want to provide them very expensive tickets, so they're going to be there towards the end. Also want to have very cheap tickets, but I want to lay this out across the board. Just all sorts of unique things we could do with those tickets, whether it's giveaways, fan clubs. Some people have corporate deals they want to do things with, and it's not like they haven't worked with us on that. I'm not saying Ticketmaster doesn't. But just the freedom to say, like, I don't want my ticket resold at all. I'd rather a couple percentage, a few hundred people kind of get screwed over and say, I can't sell my ticket back. I got to eat it. Because I know right now if that happened, that 95, 96% of those people would have a great experience at buying the ticket. And some of these things now, I've heard in the last 6 months, we can do that. We can do that. I'm like, well, why couldn't we do that for all these years? And it seems like I said, people are being reactive instead of proactive.
So not only do we lose 30, 40% on those tickets that go unsold for the food and beverage, we get double charged on the chargeback, and there's no way for us to make our money back at all.
All right, so my time has expired, but Mr. Richie, I'll give you a chance if you want to respond to those comments. I don't know if you have any response.
I think we're all, lack of a better term, rock and roll, we're all kind of smoking the same dope.
All right, that spices up the hearing even more.
Mr. Richie, do you have a comment about this? You seem to know a little bit.
Well, as much as I'd like to agree with you, if you have a radius clause, if I'm going to play a big place and I sell out that place and I want to play another place, it's in that radius. I'm kind of battling myself. It's like having a great restaurant and I'm going to open up another great restaurant right next door. I'm going to split my audience, and it just might not make the most sense, but what I'm here for, that can be debated till the cows come home. I think I'm right.
I'm saying they're curtailing these venues from getting these future events.
I think what you're talking about
over a time period. So what I'm saying is, you want to let the pressure off for your.
Well, I think what you're talking about is if Live Nation owns 80% of this market, they own most of the venues and the management and this, that, and the other ticketing company, and an act's coming up, and they know they're going to blow up, right? They're going to be a big act, but they're still in like the 5,000 seater range. Live Nation has bought the Fillmore or whatever that's 5,000 seat, but there's an independent promoter that owns another one. Live Nation can come in if they're going to get a $10,000 guarantee and they can say, we're going to invest in their future. We're going to give them 15, 20,000. And that small promoter can never compete with them. Or they're going to give them some back end deal here or there. Is that illegal? I don't know. Is it bad business, good business? I'm not sure. But, there's something to be said when you own most of the market, which nobody really in Congress voted for. They were all kind of against the merger.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Richie, how would you respond to my question?
Well, I think monopoly is having no competition. I think it's the opposite of this number and that number. I can't keep keep up with you, Mr. Wall, with the numbers, but it's lack of competition. And I think if there's more competition, let's say in the ticketing market, then that would make things better for the fans and for prices and for the artists. And, you know, and I would say let the artists bear the blunt, take the risk and reward. You know what I mean? If I say that I want tickets to be sold with a no resale, you can't resell them, period.
Yeah.
My fans are going to go like, oh, I couldn't go and Kid Rock's a jerk. Whatever, that's fine. I mean, they pretty much bear the blunt of it now, and StubHub does, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, because they don't give us the freedom to do what we want with our inventory. They don't exist without me and everyone else.
Right.
That's a fact. I think we can all agree on that.
Mr. Richie, do you hold all the cards?
No, hardly. I just want to say there's so much money in this business. There's enough to go around for everyone. That's a fact. But the one thing we can agree on, there's a lot of merit here to everything we're talking about, but we have to get the middleman out of the way. Just let me get the tickets to the fans at the prices I want to set.
I wanted to ask just a question about dynamic pricing and whether there isn't a way to get the artist more money from that. If that ticket's going to be resold, shouldn't the artist get a piece of that, a cut of that? And wouldn't that justify that open market after tickets have been sold?
I don't know if it justifies it, but it definitely would have shut everybody up for a little while longer. You know, if they would have let the artists share.
That's all we hope for in the Congress,
Yeah,
right?
you know, secondary market or whatnot. But I think that was kind of, they started this thing called platinum ticketing, and that's kind of what it was. They kind of shared some of that revenue with the artists. It was just this, it's like, no, we don't want any of this. You know, and to be honest with you, back in the day, I didn't really understand it. I don't think most acts do either. You got these managers who aren't really managers anymore. Manager used to just look out for one act. Now they have these conglomerate of acts. They have 10, 20, sometimes hundreds of acts. So they got to play nice with everybody. They can't just go, screw you, this is what my artist wants to do, blah, blah, blah. Right. And they're going to take as much money as they can because they usually get paid a percentage off the top. So I'm not a fan of any of that. Like I said, I would rather just have them like an airline. I'm going to have some first-class seats. I'm going to have some economy seats. You're going to know what they are right up front.
Yeah.
Mr. Richie?
Of it.
I don't. That's the first time I've heard very recently from Michael, the CEO, that we could do this cap or not have resale. I'm like, well, he goes, yeah, we've done it for other artists for a while now. For Pearl Jam, which is maybe why they're not here making a stink today. Still, they might have a side deal from what I've seen. I'm like, why don't?
So it's not.
They're like, you can have this deal too. I'm
operating.
like, why haven't you told us this? Oh, we're really bad at advertising. I'm like, come on, that's BS.
Mr. Richie, you had a comment?
It's this simple. If I buy a ticket and I go to the show, I'm their worst customer. If they allow these multiple counts to go on, that ticket resells and they make more money. Boom.
Mr. Richie, I wanted to ask, in your experience, your direct experience, how much control does the artist have in what the final price for an artist or a customer pays for that ticket relative to the add-ons?
The final price or setting the price of what we'd
The
like?
final price.
The final price, well, not much.
So you
I mean,
can't-
that includes all the fees that tacked on, how the buildings make their money, everyone this, that, and the other. There's, you know, they charge you how much to print out a ticket at home, all these little stuff that makes no sense, like that everyone's up in arms about. We get a ton of say in what we want the tickets priced at, because that's where we make our money, and we make the majority of that money. As I'm sure Mr. Wall will be happy to tell you, that's true. But at the end of the day, no, we don't have any, over all those fees and everything that they tack on and all the stuff that people are really upset about. You know, if I say tickets are $49, whatever, fans are usually like, okay, that's great. You know, as artists, we want to treat our fans right. They know that. But then when they get to the end and they check out, they're like, why is this thing $75?
Right.
It's supposed to be $49. That's a huge problem.
Right, and there's no way when you can't restrict the contract, when you're signing a contract with that promoter, they're unwilling or unable to guarantee that they can, assuming, and obviously if we do a federal law that.
I mean, this is why I said subpoena some of this stuff, because what I've heard, people are getting kickbacks from this. Sometimes it's the managers or the artists. You know, there's a lot of people at fault here. You know, I'd like to put it all on Ticketmaster and they take the majority of these blows, no question, them in Live Nation. But there's a lot of people there with their hands in this cookie jar that it shouldn't be in. And that's why I hope you subpoena a lot of these contracts and look for some of this fraud, because I bet there's some folks who go to jail.
I'm not going to judge anybody on that evidence yet. You know, since last year, the FTC's all-in pricing went into effect. Have you guys seen a change in the market since that? And maybe each one of you can describe a little bit what the change is. And then also, if we made that a federal law rather than just a rule, would that make a difference? So that's the two questions. Have you seen a change, and would?
That's great. I think that's great for fans. Just more transparency, so they don't get sticker shock when they go to checkout with all these hidden fees.